Starts right now.
A swarm of bees turns deadly. The neighbor who tried to help as the bees overwhelmed their victim speaking with us tonight.
And dozens of Texas lawmakers taking to the skies and cross state lines. Why they're making the trip to our nation's capital in the battle over an updated voting measure.
Plus several updates on the vaccine front, a new briefing with Pfizer, and what the FDA is now doing when it comes to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. But first, a deadly bee attack in South Bexar County. One man covered from head to toe in bees before he was taken to the hospital in critical condition. He later died.
One woman tried to step in to help as the bees continued to swarm. The Night Team's Tiffany Huertas brings us her story.
Él estaba cubierto de los animales.
Maria Sanchez says her neighbor was covered in bees.
Él estaba sentadito.
Maria says she found her 73-year-old neighbor sitting down and his hands were covered in bees. She had never seen anything like this before. The attack happened this morning around 10:30 on State Highway 16 South near Loop 1604 in South Bexar County.
Oí la máquina que prendió.
Maria heard her neighbor's lawnmower turn on and off, and when she went to check on him, he was fighting for his life.
Le eché bastante alcohol.
Maria says she tried pouring rubbing alcohol on the man and called 911.
The Bexar County Sheriff's Office says first responders arrived to the home and they put on protective suits to avoid being stung by the bees.
Deputies estimate the man was stung over 300 times. He was taken to Southwest General Hospital in critical condition, but later died. Maria says she was not hurt.
La gente aquí debe saber que aquí andan los animales.
She says people need to remember that bees can attack.
Rick Fink, the president of the Alamo Area Beekeepers Association, tells me that a hive that is under a shed, in the wall of a house, or on the bottom of a tree should be treated with caution. He also says that mowing or weed eating near a hive can aggravate bees, and he reminds everyone that you always call a beekeeper to perform a safe removal of a beehive. Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
Thank you, Tiffany. A controversial move with an unclear outcome tonight. Texas Democrats jumping on a private charter flight to cross state lines 5 days into a special session. This plane of lawmakers leaving Austin to break quorum in hopes of stopping a measure that would add voting restrictions. State Representative Diego Bernal posting this picture on his social media pages, calling voting a sacred right in need of protection. He also referenced the book he's reading, saying he would brush up on critical race theory, another measure that'll be up for a vote this special session. This session has a total of 11 items that are up for a vote. This voting measure would tighten rules for mail-in ballots and applications, impact drive-through and 24-hour voting, and support partisan poll watchers. With dozens of lawmakers absent, the House Speaker can issue a call for the lawmakers' arrest. Governor Greg Abbott says he's prepared to call continuous special sessions until next year's election.
They're going to have to be prepared to do it for well over a year. As soon as they come back in the state of Texas, they will be arrested. They will be cabined inside the Texas Capitol until they get their job done.
Vice President Kamala Harris praised the Texas Democrats. Those lawmakers hoping to gain support from President Joe Biden in hopes of getting Congress to act on voting at the federal level.
We're going over there to see if we can secure additional allies, if we can unite our allies in our cause, and we're doing whatever steps are necessary to make this happen, including leading the state of Texas.
Now, it's unclear if all this will work. President Biden is set to speak in Philadelphia tomorrow. The issue of voting is expected to be included in that speech.
Time is running out to get the COVID-19 shots for those 12 and older. School starts for some students in just over a month. The Night Team's Patty Santos reports the city will begin hosting pop-up clinics at area schools to increase vaccination rates among kids.
I'm kind of confident that I won't catch the virus now and I can actually go and meet people.
Elizabeth Quevedo got her shot 3 months ago and feels ready to tackle her senior year at a new school in just over a month. Out at San Antonio International Airport, families traveling in from Mexico are rolling up their sleeves for a shot at immunity.
It's like a privilege to get vaccinated because not everybody can get vaccinated. Right now, we don't have that option because it's not open for our age.
And cousins Carla Dusolier and Ricardo Rojas will be studying in Canada, where the shot is a requirement.
We didn't want any problems, so we took it right now.
San Antonio Metro Health is gearing up for a back-to-school push to ensure more kids in our city have access to the vaccine.
We'll be near your campus, so look out for that. Look out for that communication from your school, and we're here to help.
With just over a month left till school starts, some students have just enough time.
You need 3 weeks between the first and second, and then 2 weeks after the second to be fully immunized against it.
Pediatrician John Fitch says families still want to know, is it safe? And he feels confident it is.
My biggest endorsement is I've given it to my 12-year-old daughter, so I feel comfortable not only to recommend it to my patients, but I've given it to my own children, plus my 3 older kids.
He says doctors are bracing for a rise in cases among kids once school starts. And Dr. Fitch says the side effects on kids are the same as those in adults, which last about 1 or 2 days. And he thinks that by mid-fall or the end of this year, we will have a vaccine for those under 12 years old. Steve, ECs.
Thank you, Patty. Now to a Nightbeat update. The service member found dead at Joint Base San Antonio Fort Sam Houston, now identified as a nurse. Military officials say she is a 34-year-old Army Captain Alexis E. Groff, and was assigned to a hospital in Colorado. Officials with JBSA Fort Sam Houston found her at her off-base home last Thursday. The investigation into her death continues tonight. A car stolen at gunpoint. San Antonio police now searching for 2 suspects in the case. The carjacking took place at the Westwood Plaza Apartments about 7:30 this morning. That's not far from Highway 90 and West Military Drive. The 19-year-old victim says 2 men threatened him with a gun before staking his Dodge Avenger and then firing several rounds. Taking his Dodge Avenger. Some of the vehicles in the parking lot were hit. No one was hurt.
Well, it's the first death penalty case to take place in Bexar County in more than 5 years. Following a lengthy delay due to the coronavirus pandemic, the capital murder trial of Otis McCain is finally underway. McCain is charged with killing San Antonio Police Detective Benjamin Marconi in November 2016. Day one saw only a single opening statement, as well as the start of witness testimony.
It felt good to shoot him. Those words came out of this defendant's mouth. 31-year-old Otis McCain.
Following a plea of not guilty from the defense, state prosecutor Tamara Strouch delivered what was the only opening statement heard during the first day of the capital murder trial of Otis McCain. The defense declining the opportunity, allowing for witness testimony to begin.
I seen the patrol car and I kind of walked over there, and then, I started seeing people, doing the cross sign, and at that point I knew something had happened.
What happened was the killing of police detective Benjamin Marconi, shot twice in the head while sitting in his vehicle right outside public safety headquarters. The prosecution showed jurors security footage where they say McCain pulled up behind Marconi's unit, walked to the driver's side window, and fired those 2 shots. Also presented 911 audio. A call was disputed that was made the day after the shooting from a man who recognized McCain and his vehicle. The defense claimed the call was hearsay. The judge ruled that call could be revisited when that witness takes the stand. The final witness to take the stand before court adjourned, Deputy Chief Hector Salas, who was part of the crime scene unit at the time of Marconi's death, and walked jurors through crime scene photos, as well as the recordings captured from Marconi's police unit that day.
There's a camera facing forward that can pick up the view of the front of the vehicle, and there's a camera in the back seat.
Tomorrow, jurors will be shown video from a camera inside Marconi's patrol unit showing the moments he was shot and killed. The trial will begin at 12:30 p.m. You can continue to follow along as we live stream each day in its entirety at KSAT.com or the KSAT TV app.
We had just a touch of rain today. We had isolated pockets of rainfall in the afternoon. And not everybody saw rain, but everybody did get some rain-cooled air. That's why it's 76 degrees at the airport right now in San Antonio. Elsewhere, we're seeing temperatures in the 70s, and we have a nice breeze, so it really doesn't feel all that bad out there. What's really impressive is how rainy this month has been. From July 3rd, Saturday, all the way through July 10th, just this past Saturday, we had 8 consecutive July days with measured rainfall. That is the most consecutive July days with rainfall since 1972. 49 years. Now, we've had more rain in Julys of the past, like 2002, we got almost 17 inches of rain, but the ground is saturated. Some of the yards are gnarly. So if you want to do any yard working, you can do that in the yard work forecast. Things look pretty good. Now, we had a beautiful sunset tonight, courtesy of some Saharan dust. It definitely has its negatives as well. So coming up in the forecast, we'll talk about your Saharan dust forecast and if we have any more rain in our near future. Steve?
Thank you, Sarah. Still ahead on the Nightbeat, we go behind the kitchen door at a meat market near downtown. The score uncovered coming up.
And an update made to the label of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, what health officials are suggesting, and the latest out of today's briefing with Pfizer and its push for a booster shot. Next on the Nightbeat.
The Food and Drug Administration updating the label for the Johnson & Johnson COVID vaccine. It now notes there could be a slightly increased risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said 100 people who got the shot later reported the neurological complication. It's a small fraction of the nearly 13 million U.S. citizens who received the one-dose vaccine. Dr. Anthony Fauci has become a familiar face amid the pandemic and continues to advise everyone who is eligible to get the vaccine.
Does the benefit of the vaccine outweigh the very, very unusual risk of an adverse event? And thus far with these vaccines, it's always been decided that the benefit of the vaccine outweighs the risk.
Pfizer discussed a potential booster shot with federal health officials today. Since that briefing, nothing's changed. The FDA and CDC saying a booster shot is not needed for fully vaccinated people at the moment. Still, companies are working ahead amid the rise in cases of the Delta variant.
Bexar County continues to face a critical blood shortage. The South Texas Blood and Tissue Center reports we are only a little more than a one-day supply of all blood types. There is only a half-day supply of O types. The units are used in emergencies for 48 counties, including our area. You can still schedule an appointment to donate by calling 210-731-5590 or by visiting southtexasblood.org. The next community drive will happen Wednesday at the San Antonio Food Bank from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Our team going behind the kitchen door again this week, this time cooler issues leading a meat market to go through a reinspection. La Michoacana meat market on Flores Street received a score of 78 in May after raw meat found to be nearly 10 degrees warmer than allowed by health standards. We're also checking up on several other local restaurants. You can check out those scores on KSAT.com.
Also on KSAT.com, an effort to help U.S. families with monthly child tax credit payments rolling out this week. Heads of household will receive up to $3,600 for each child up to 6 years old and $3,000 for children between the ages of 6 and 17. Some of the credit will be paid in monthly installments through December. We have all the details online.
And as we take a look outside with live cam, Sky 12 over downtown. The beautiful shot of the tower.
Yeah, and a beautiful night out there, too. 77 degrees. Feels pretty nice with a light breeze. And you know what? It's July when we usually see highs in the mid-90s. Here's where we were at today around San Antonio. 90 degrees for the high temperature in San Antonio. Elsewhere, we were able to see 95 in Del Rio, 96 in Laredo, that 90, 4 degrees cooler than average. But the thing that is impressive is when you compare what was happening this time last year, we were in the middle of a pretty intense heat wave. So back on the 9th, we saw a high when it was raining all day of only 79 degrees. But that time last year, we were at 99. Today, 90. Last year, 102. Tomorrow, our forecast high is 90 degrees. This time last year, 107. So yeah, I'll take this kind of weather over that kind of weather any day. It did come at a cost, though, with too much rain for some folks, but at least we've been able to stock up. The aquifer looks good. It's up 0.3 of a foot over the past 24 hours. We still do have high humidity out there. Dew point's right near 70 degrees, and it's not going to go anywhere. We're going to see it continue to be humid for the remainder of the week and into the weekend. By Friday, when our highs get into the low to mid 90s, that's when the heat index value is going to feel more than 100 degrees outside. So not quite heat advisory criteria, but still definitely hot enough to be dangerous for long periods of time outdoors. So we had an interesting weather pattern today. We had a stationary boundary to our north, and that's what fired off a few showers around San Antonio, right close to about an hour before sunrise. But the main feature that's going to push our weather over the next couple of days is going to be the sea breeze. Every afternoon, we'll see a few coastal showers develop, and we'll have to watch those carefully to see if they have enough oomph to push into San Antonio. Basically, we're going to give it a 10 to 20% chance for the remainder of the week. And I'll show you what that'll look like in our futurecast for tomorrow. Starting off the day with some clouds, cloudy skies, a couple of sprinkles here and there, maybe some patchy fog as well. And then in the afternoon, we'll see partly cloudy skies, so the skies will gradually clear. There's those sea breeze showers that the futurecast is picking up on. That'll be in the afternoon, a 20% chance for an isolated shower or thunder shower with a couple of flashes of lightning. 75 to start off the day. Right around noon, we'll have mostly cloudy skies, 84. Mostly cloudy to partly cloudy at 5, 90 for that high temperature, 4 degrees cooler than average, and southeast winds at 5 to 15. Again, only a 10 to 20% chance for a coastal shower through about Friday, and then we should be in the clear for the weekend if you want to head to the Guadalupe River, the Comal River, one of our area lakes, or just the pool. It's going to be pretty nice for those summertime activities. One thing I will caution you about that's been getting a lot of traction across south central Texas is the fact that we are in the middle of a Saharan dust plume. It's not particularly dense, and this happens every year from June to September, but we're expected to see the dust thin out a bit by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before another plume works its way back into San Antonio and south central Texas by Friday and Saturday. Again, this is not unusual. We deal with it every year, but a couple of things to know. It could create some allergy-like symptoms, hazy skies, which we've seen over the last couple of days, but that'll lead to some vibrant sunsets. And again, it'll be cyclical. The plumes will come and go. Other than that, a pretty typical, although a couple of degrees cooler than average July forecast, with mornings in the mid-70s, cloudy, and then clearing out during the day. Highs in the low 90s, but feeling like 100 by the weekend.
All right, thank you, Sarah.
All right, definitely a Spurs presence in the exhibition game for Team USA tonight.
On both sides of the ball, in fact, for both Team USA and also for Australia. I thought Team USA looked better tonight, but not good enough to win. When we come back, it's Pop versus Patty, or maybe Keldon Johnson versus Patty. We'll see about that. When we come back, we'll show you how Australia won and handed the United States a second straight loss. And we continue with the Cowboys' top 5 priorities before they head off to camp. Coming up. Spurs guard Patty Mills leads Australia against Coach Pop and Team USA, who are still looking for their first win in the exhibition tournament in Las Vegas. After an embarrassing loss to Nigeria Saturday night, Spurs guard Keldon Johnson getting some playing time off the select team and watching muscle past Patty in the second quarter for the basket and a 5-point lead. But Mills answers late in the first half with a step-back jumper with under 2 seconds to play. The U.S. still leads 46-35 at the break. But the Aussies storm back and take the lead in the fourth quarter thanks to Mills, who scored 10 of his 22 points. In the final frame, the Americans lose again, 91-83. After losing the first 2 games of the NBA Finals, the Bucks began their comeback last night by setting the Suns in Game 3 in a blowout. Giannis Antetokounmpo led the charge in Milwaukee by scoring his second straight 40-plus point game in the finals, 41, and with the crowd behind him, lifted others by leading by example. He attacked the rim early and offered, outscoring the Suns 54-40 in the paint. But unlike the first 2 games, he got help from both Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. Holiday with 21 points, including 5 3-pointers, while Middleton had 18 with another 3 3-pointers in the 120-100 rout to get within 1 win of the evening up this series. So how did it feel for Giannis to dominate inside?
feels good. It feels good to finish the play, but at the same time, there's so much traffic in there. But hey, I gotta keep the ball high, make the right play. I feel like in the previous game 2, there was so much traffic. I was able to make the corner pass to guys or make the right pass, guys. But now being at home, you have a little bit more confidence. Your legs feel a little bit better.
The Phoenix Suns struggled with their shots, led by Devin Booker, who was only able to score 10 points, finishing only 1 out of 7 from three-point range. Another big problem for the Suns inside game is that DeAndre Ayton ran into early foul trouble and as a result was only able to play 24 minutes. Speaking of fouls, the Suns only went to the line 16 times compared to the Bucks, who made it to 26 trips, 17 alone for Giannis. So how do you get Ayton through this when they clearly were targeting him?
I don't even want to go there. It's pretty self-explanatory. We got to figure out or define what is a legal guarding position because, there's times where he can move his hands out of the way, but, it's hard to tell a guy what to do when somebody's running into you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what a legal guarding position is at times, but they were aggressive, and we have to give them credit. I'm not going to sit here and complain about a team that's aggressive, but we have to understand how the refs are calling the game and then adjust to that.
All right, the finals won't continue until Wednesday in Milwaukee at 8 p.m. live here on KSAT 12.
Pro football coverage powered by Davis Law Firm.
Dallas Cowboys kick off training camp 1 week from tomorrow, and their number one priority in Oxnard will be to fix and rebuild the Dallas D. That's after the Cowboys defense gave up a franchise record 473 points, 6,183 total net yards to opponents, which is the second most in team history. It cost defensive coordinator Mike Nolan his job after only 1 year in the position, and he has been replaced by Dan Quinn. Cowboys used the draft to start the rebuilding process by spending 8 of their 11 picks on the defensive side of the ball, starting with their first pick overall, selecting Micah Parsons out of Penn State. And then in the fourth round, Jabril Cox, another linebacker out of LSU. Parsons is a hybrid linebacker that can also play defensive end to put more pressure on the quarterback. The question is, will he be a starter as a rookie? That's because Leighton Vander Esch injury history has put him under the microscope. So much so the Cowboys are not guaranteeing his contract past this year. They're playing in all 16 games his rookie season. He's only appeared in 19 over the last 2 seasons. The defensive line is expected to improve with more playing time for Randy Gregory, who was underutilized by Nolan in his comeback to the NFL, looking for a breakout season this year. And the big question in the defensive backfield is, how will the Cowboys recover from losing Chidobe Awuzie to the Cincinnati Bengals in free agency? Cowboys are expecting big things from Trayvon Diggs, who started 11 of 12 games he played in with 3 interceptions his rookie season. Who is a top-rated football team in Class 6A in San Antonio? Next. Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine has hit the newsstand starting this week. Is easily recognized by the all-Aggie defensive cover featuring San Antonio's own DeMarvin Leal, number 8, right there in the front, as part of the new crew that is expected to lead the Aggies' charge for national title. It's after they finished 9-1 last year and 4th in the nation. We begin tonight with Class 6A preseason state rankings for Dave Campbell's Football Magazine, as the Brennan Bears is the highest-ranked team out of San Antonio, number 17 in the state. That's because they have as many as 14 starters back this season, 8 on offense, 6 on defense, of a team that finished 10-2 last season. Here are the other ranked teams in their top 50 this year. 17 is Brennan, followed by Reagan at 19, Steelers at number 21, Judson at 23, Smithson Valley at 29, and Johnson checks in at number 50. Now, keep in mind, these are all preseason rankings. There's a lot of football to be played, and if my calculations are correct, we're 44 days away from kickoff of the high school football season.
Wow.
Not that far.
It is not that far when you put it that way. Thank you, Greg.
We'll be right back.
A day very similar to today, tomorrow, with some light Saharan dust in the air, a 20% chance for a pop-up shower or storm in the afternoon. Only a stray shower Wednesday and Thursday. Thermometer starts to go up by Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Our highs will be in the low to mid 90s with a heat index value close to 100. Definitely feeling like summer, but it could be a lot worse. We could be fighting the triple digits.
Thank you, Sarah.
That's it for the Night Beat. GMSA at 4:30.
Good night.